Domingo's name?
Coleman.
Coleman Domingo's in
Coleman Domingo.
Oh.
I love Domingo.
I didn't know Coleman Domingo was in it.
Yeah. So it's you're giving me 3 people I absolutely love and one that I think highly of. It's like, okay, surely this isn't going to be awful, and it was pretty damn good. Put it on the list for the year in review.
Wow.
Yeah, it's on there. It's on there, along with sex therapy.
Do you think I'm gonna get this necklace?
No, you're not.
By the time the show
and check this out.
It's like a Rubik's cube.
I don't want you.
I was getting somewhere.
I don't want you to stop doing that until it gets done. So the entire show is just you trying to untangle that. What do you mean you can't focus?
I can't really focus on anything.
Well, you're all right. You also got to talk into the microphone. Yeah, pull it to you and then start. Do you want me to untangle it?
No.
So you can focus? Because I don't need to focus. Nobody cares what I think.
No.
But seriously, I want to know how long it takes you to undo that. What else are you going to have to do? You don't really have to read off any important stats or anything.
True.
So yeah.
Just chat and untangle this necklace.
Talk and untangle it. What is realer than that? We want this show to feel like a real space, like you're in our living room having a conversation.
And this is what I would be doing.
And this is what you would be doing in your living room.
You're right.
Because
I've been doing it all morning.
Listen, man.
I was doing it on the drive, and I was like, you have to stop. If you got in a car accident trying to untangle a necklace.
Distracted driving.
You'd never forgive yourself.
What was the song?
I'm only gonna break your heart.
I'm not writing that down. That's a key. Was it the Luda version?
Of course it was the Luda version. And
Luda.
I think he did it at Riverbeat.
Okay.
But I can't remember now. But in my head, I absolutely heard him do his verse.
Well, I hope Keanu Cruz is doing okay.
I'm not gonna make your shatter and splatter and tiny little bases. Losers weepers.
You don't have to. Why'd you sound Italian there?
Italian. Do you know what Italian brain rot is?
No.
I'll tell you tomorrow on Wednesday. Okay. That's a Wednesday story for the show.
Goodness.
Even Jacob knows what Italian brain rot is. What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, May 20th. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, I will try to untangle this necklace as we continue forward. But the NBA Conference Finals start tonight. Thunder Timberwolves up first. Knicks Pacers tomorrow. We will preview those matchups. Watched a little WNBA last night. Paige Bueckers' second career game. The Wings lost, but it was a nice little break from all the other W drama. Mike Wallace will join us in the second segment. We'll talk playoffs, Grizzlies, and more with him. The NFL just voted on players getting to play flag football at the Olympics in 2028. And then we'll have a special TV Tuesday. One of the funniest people I know is going to join us in studio. His name is Alex Carmedelle. He's a TV writer. He's written for shows like Shameless and Get Shorty. We will talk to him about his journey to LA, what life is like as a writer for television, and some of his favorite shows on TV right now. It's a Tuesday. You know what we say. Ballerina cappuccino. It's Italian brain rot. Is your child a natural-born entertainer? Now is their chance to join the most talented youth dance crew in the Mid-South, the Blue Bunch. The Blue Bunch entertains Grizz Nation with their energetic dance routines and even have the opportunity to collaborate on performances with leading artists in the entertainment industry. Kids ages 7 to 17 are invited to show off their skills and personality for their chance to join the next generation of NBA entertainers. Open auditions are Saturday, June 28th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With special guests 3 doors down. And Mammoth WVH. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Creed returns, the Summer of '99 tour.
You've seen the Grizz line jamming on the court and rocking out on Beale Street, and this is your chance to join the best drum line in the NBA. Grizz line entertains Grizz Nation at home games and events in the Mid-South through their impressive techniques and energetic shows. If you have experience in drumming and marching and love entertaining, Grizz line is the perfect opportunity for you to combine percussion and performance. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Sign up today by visiting grizzlies.com/auditions.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
This week, we're going to run down the hits and the misses from WrestleMania 41.
The main event, NXT title on the line, Obafemi versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans. One of the greatest triple threat matches I've ever seen in my life.
I'm shocked.
And it made history because it's the first time there's 3 black men highlighting a NXT pay-per-view.
Okay.
That was dope too.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, ay. Let's have a little fun now. Ay. I wanna let it all out. Ay. That's what it's all about. Ay. Ay. Cause I deserve this feeling of having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday, making it through the week. A dark and stormy morning here in Memphis, Tennessee. The thunder was rumbling, CJ.
You put it down.
Yes,
You're trying to do a show.
No.
I want the camera on
I
her
just get
as
so
she tries
frustrated.
to untangle this, Jacob. So you can keep it. Don't break it. You maniac. What is that?
I mean, it's like $15. It's my wedding necklace.
Okay, there we go.
So I want to keep it. I'm not ready to throw it away. And
All right.
I came in and I was going to go on this like complaint about being a woman yet again and just the things we have to deal about. But then I remembered like men wear jewelry too sometimes. But have you ever had a chain this fine and this tangled? Because you do not know the pain associated.
I have bought. I bought a girlfriend of mine a chain that was about that thin, and she would never wear it. And I would ask her, "Oh, Jacob, keep it on her." Yeah, what I say
Not the
doesn't
close
matter.
cap.
That ring is shining. Also,
Which
shout out
one,
to
my
Luther.
Aura ring
No,
or my ring?
no, the ring that matters. And I asked her, I was like, "Yo, why don't you ever wear this necklace?" She's like, "Yo, because when I wear it, it gets all tangled, and then I'm unable to get the knots out, and there's nothing I can do about it." So after hearing that, I decided to stop buying those. I bought some necklaces like that for my mother once upon a time, and for a girlfriend, like I said. And then it was like, okay, I'm done, because they just get tangled and knotted, and there's nothing you can do.
And it just infuriates you because it's like a task that you can't complete.
Oh, that's a big ass knot.
Yeah, I know.
Jessica, where the hell was this? You had to have just had that balled up somewhere. Do you not have a jewelry box?
No, I do. Here's the whole issue. So we have company, and as I've explained, we have a loft. So our company sleeps in the loft, but the loft is where I normally get ready in the morning. And so I had to lay out all my clothes ahead of time, and my jewelry box is in my bathroom up there, and I forgot to take a necklace out. But the clothes I laid out was just a plain black t-shirt. And normally if I'm gonna wear a plain black t-shirt, I'm gonna dress it up with a little piece of jewelry because, it's just a plain black t-shirt.
You can't have this conversation and try and untangle it?
No, because I get really focused. Is this like a test?
Untangle it?
Yeah, if you can untangle it, you just let me know. But I feel like you're gonna make it worse. Oh, wait.
There's no way you got
No.
it. Because it's a giant
No.
knot.
All right. And this is what we're doing at this point. But it's frustrating.
It's 2 knots.
Yeah, it's a million knots. I don't know what happened to it. It's been sitting on my dresser for weeks, tangled in a knot. And I decided today would be the morning to start attempting to untangle the knot as I listen to the thunder and the rain roll in to the skies of Memphis over the river. Did you get it?
No, what the hell am I supposed to do with
All right,
this?
you have to stay focused, though. You have to also focus
Jessica,
because
I'm
last night was our first weeknight without an NBA game, CJ, since April 17th. We have had an NBA game every weeknight since April 17th. That was the night before the Grizzlies would then play the Dallas Mavericks on April 18th in the play-in game and then start their 4-game series with the Oklahoma City Thunder. But other than that, it's just been nonstop NBA. There have been 2 Saturdays, I think, where there hasn't been a game, including this past one before we got to the Game 7 between the Thunder and the Nuggets. But it has been pretty heavy dosage of NBA. And so I found myself a little lost last night being like, what do I do with my time? What do I do with the TV? And I ended up watching a little bit of the Wings Storm game. But I got to tell you, CJ, it's a tough watch. When we were identifying WNBA teams we're going to watch throughout this season.
Neither one of us said those two.
Neither one of us said those 2 teams. I will say, it was very nice to watch just a basketball game after everybody and their mother spent infinite time dissecting the Fever Sky investigation of the fan who may or may not have done something absolutely horrible at the Fever Sky season opener for both of those teams. The discourse that popped up, it's so silly because if she had just pushed her and we moved on, it would be so easy. It was an inconsequential foul in the middle of a blowout game that really should not have mattered this much. And yet, everybody had a place in it yesterday. RG3 and Ryan Clark are going back and forth. And I'm like, how did we get here? And
there are a couple of reasons why. Are we going to do like a deep dive
No,
on
we're
this?
not going to do a deep dive because my biggest takeaway yesterday was I saw a slew of people in the media, and I don't want to overinflate this sentiment, but I did hear it from multiple people who said, man, if this is how it's going to be all season, like I'm out. I'm out. And I'm like, you're out on the entire league because of one dumb foul. And listen, I understand that it gets, it can be very disheartening. It can bog down. It can get really ugly, especially on social media. But this is, again, where I suggest removing yourself from the conversation on social media that is nothing but toxicity and woe, and still trying to find some basketball to watch. Now, if you chose to watch Storm,
maybe not them.
Wings last night.
Maybe not them, Jessica.
It's not exactly the best brand of basketball. It's not exactly the best ambassador of WNBA basketball at this time. The Storm beat the Wings 79-71. And I was just curious to tune in because I wasn't able to watch Paige Bueckers' season debut on Friday night. I was out at Smoke Slam, and I was like, all right, let's see how Paige Bueckers does in game 2. And she had 19 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, but the Wings stink. And here's the thing, to say the Wings stink is really something because the Storm also are not very good. They cannot grab a rebound to save their lives. I did enjoy watching Gabby Williams, who is back with the Storm for her first full WNBA season since 2022. She's been playing over in Europe. She was on that France team that was in the gold medal game, and I remember really liking her game then, and I enjoyed watching her when she was running the Storm's offense last night and think that there is something there. Nneka Ogwumike puts the weight of the world on her shoulders, and she had a great game. Skylar Diggins had a good game. I would have loved to see the Storm rookie play a little bit more. Malanga, she's French too. The French are taking over the world in the NBA and the WNBA.
That's the French one who can just dunk.
Yes.
Like drop step dunk.
When they're like,
one
this
leg
is
dunk, catch an elbow shot, fake one dribble, left, right, up there. Gotcha.
The female Victor Wembanyama, and I'm like, are we only saying this because she's tall and French? But
yes.
Yeah, but like similar alien-like stature. Victor Wembanyama was at the game last night to watch this. But if I'm a Storm fan, I'm like wildly discouraged from what I have seen from their game 1 performance where they put up, I think, 58 points or something. If I'm a Wings fan, I just have to accept the process that this is what it is like normally when you get yourself in a position to end up getting the number 1 pick. And a number 1 pick like Paige Bueckers, which is very exciting to potentially build your franchise around. And you can see her coming off this right here. She's going to take a deep 3, CJ. This was the main highlight I saw from Paige. And people were like, whoa! And I'm like, it's a 3-pointer.
That's not her game either, though.
Also
correct
not
me?
her game. And I think my earpieces, just like my
Is it
necklace,
tangled?
really struggling this
What is
morning.
up with you in knots? Is your body in knots?
Maybe everything's in knots. This is what happens when there's not an NBA game the night before. I have to readjust my entire schedule. The earlier the Wings decide to run their offense through Paige Bueckers, I think the better the situation will be for them. And I cannot believe that is not their strategy from day one.
I think you want to get everybody accustomed to
each
being
other?
in the league, and then you start running it through Paige. But I'm with you. Get Enrique off ball and let her float around there, and just focus on scoring. Go ahead.
Enrique Agumawala is one of the most frustrating players to watch
I
in the
love
league.
watching her.
She's so streaky. CJ, the shots she was taking last night were absurd.
Those are bad habit shots
Yes.
because the past, 2.5, 3
You
seasons,
haven't played with anybody
she's
else.
had to
Correct.
take those shots.
So that's my whole thing. Get the ball in Paige's hands, get the offense running through her. She can
Pull
be the
Enrique to
ultimate
the side.
connector for a team. Paige Bueckers is not at her best when she is forced to carry the primary offensive load. And so, yes, pull Enrique out, focus on taking higher percentage shots, cleaner looks, because last night she was 2 of 14 and she had 0 assists. And if Paige Bueckers had the fan club that Caitlin Clark has, Enrique would have had to be in therapy by midnight last night, because they would have, remember what they did to Aaliyah Boston last year in the early games with Caitlin Clark and
Was
with
that
Kelsey
after
Mitchell?
a missed late game thing?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
it was. And that Fever team, to be reminded, they went 1-10. But I do think, again, it does put the spotlight on how different of a situation, just how unique of a player Caitlin Clark was, because even as the Fever were going 1-10, nobody would shut up about the Indiana Fever, because it was just this lightning in a bottle moment, and her transition from college basketball into the WNBA. And last night, the game between the Storm and the Wings was on NBA TV, but it's not like it was the lead this morning on most sports shows. Like, you're still going to talk about the NBA conference finals starting tonight. You're going to sprinkle some baseball in, and then it's like, oh yeah, the Dallas Wings lost to the Seattle Storm last night. But I am interested to see if we get some sort of mid-season turnaround from Paige Bueckers. Caitlin Clark had the power of an Olympic snub at her back, and that wind on the sails.
Olympic snub. Didn't deserve
I'm
to
saying
be there.
perceived Olympic snub.
Oh, it was the Olympic break.
Also that.
Yeah, that's
It was
what
All-Star
it was.
and Olympic break, even though she participated in All-Star weekend. And then you got the break of the Olympics, and so it really allowed, because as we discussed going into this season, and just a constant reminder, the absolute gauntlet of a schedule. We talk about the NBA playoff schedule. The gauntlet of a schedule for a WNBA rookie is insane, especially if your team made a deep run in the NCAA tournament. You turn around, you have draft week prep, you have the WNBA draft, you hit training camp, and oh, looky, it's May 20th, and you're already playing your second game in the WNBA. It's just crazy, and it's really hard for players to get adjusted. It's truly feet in the fire, let's go. And if you're going to a team that is not built to succeed, if that team is ultimately dependent on your very quick growth from being a college player to a professional, that can be even more difficult. But I will say it was a tough watch. Did you watch any of it last night?
No.
Did you choose to watch any of it last night?
No. Just like I wouldn't choose to watch Hornets,
I know.
Wizards.
That's
just
how I
like
felt.
I wouldn't choose
That's
to
how I
watch
felt.
Jags,
Yeah.
Titans.
Yeah.
I wouldn't choose to watch this iteration of the
I
Storm
know.
versus this iteration of the Wings. Shut up, Jacob. It's because of your Titans. Titans, Browns, Titans, Chargers, Titans, anybody, right? I'm not choosing a Team Tennessee.
I'll watch
choosing to
any
watch
NFL.
them.
That's the difference, schedule-wise, because there's just less to choose from. I am
Who's making? Oh, Jacob, who's making the playoffs, Jacob?
the Titans. Cam Ward,
Titans?
number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward.
Steve McNair 2.0. This man is a maniac. He's on drugs, and it's not even 8:30 yet. Test that man.
Wow.
Don't test me, though.
How's
but
the necklace
definitely
going?
test him.
Any progress?
The big knot is getting slightly smaller.
That's what I
Jessica.
thought about 5 times this morning.
Jessica, I think you tangled this. There's no way this knot comes naturally.
probably.
You made this knot. You definitely
Did you
made
ever
the
make a
big one.
human knot at camp?
Did
you ever go to camp?
This one time at camp?
This one time at camp.
No.
God, this is like the 8th American Pie reference that's been made in my presence in the last week.
Well, you got to stop doing American Pie things. No, what's a human knot?
Like, you all grab hands, and then you have to untangle yourself where your hands end up, nobody's hands are crossing anymore. And it's like a teamwork exercise. I always thought it was one of the most annoying teamwork exercises that you could have. I don't even think I did it at camp. I think I did it in peer counseling in high school. Yeah. How about that? Of course she was a peer counselor.
Of course you're a peer
Of course she was a peer.
counselor.
I try to counsel you every single day of my life, and it does not work.
You're not the only peer counselor I've had, by the way.
Me?
Yeah, I've had other peer counselors.
Well,
They've
we're
all
out there.
failed.
We're a small army out in the world, just trying to make the world a little bit of a better, happier place. CJ. The other thing I watched last night was the final LA Sports Center, last Sports Center from their LA studios, and that kind of broke my heart a little bit because that was like my ultimate dream when I was in school. I wanted to be a Sports Center host, but I did not want to move to Bristol, Connecticut. I wanted to live in Los Angeles, California, where I had gone to school, and it was just kind of sad to watch that come to an end. And I thought to myself, we're having a lot of things come to an end with this upcoming Eastern Conference Finals being the last series on TNT as things shift over into the new future of NBC and Amazon and whatever everything looks like with the new media deal for the NBA, but TNT not being a part of that. And for the longest time, the LA Sports Center was, that late night option. It was for the West Coasters. And I know nobody really watches Sports Center. Not nobody, but it's not what it once was. It's not the days where that's where you went to find out everything that happened in the day. We see it all day long, every day on social media through highlights and stories and back and forths between RG3 and Ryan Clark. But shout out to LA Sports Center because those days with Neil Everett and Stan Verrett back in the early iterations was just an excellent pairing on the Sports Center desk. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Mike Wallace is going to join us. We're going to preview tonight's Thunder Timberwolves Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. We also are going to find out the all-rookie teams tonight in the NBA. We'll ask Mike if he thinks a Grizzly, 2 Grizzlies will make that first team when we come back.
We talked a little bit about Jalen Wells. Jalen Wells, man, he finished third in the balloting for NBA Rookie of the Year. He's going to be back. He's going to play in Summer League, and maybe he'll shoot some left-handed jumpers out there. Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Have you always dreamed of entertaining on the biggest stage in Memphis? The Claw Crew is looking for members to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. Claw Crew members are hardworking, high-energy entertainers who assist Grizzlies home games by hyping up the crowd and much more. Not only do they support the Grizzlies on home games, but also promote in Memphis and across the Mid-South. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information and to register today. The Grizzlies, grannies, and grandpas have the right moves and are currently looking for new members to join their team for the upcoming season. These soulful seniors are a fan favorite group throughout Grizz Nation. You do not have to be a grandparent, but you must be at least 50 years old with personality, rhythm, and passion for performing. If that sounds like you, then we want to see you on Sunday, June 29th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information.
With a knockaway. Good defense. Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting. Let's go!
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
I got some Cam Ward news for you, by the way.
Let me hear it.
You talk about being able to sell some jerseys. 7 minutes ago at his introductory press conference in Nashville, Warren Moon walks in. I give you permission to wear number 1. Young guy.
Wow.
He hands him the number 1 jersey.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm going to give you permission to wear number 1. So he's going to have the number 1 Cam Ward jersey.
That's amazing.
We're rocking the Cam Ward number 1 Titans jersey.
That's amazing.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
How about Mr. Irrelevant coming from the Memphis Tigers? Yeah, how about that? New England Patriots
Second
took
time.
Memphis defensive back Kobe Minor with the 257th overall pick.
If you're the player getting drafted at that spot, it's almost better to go undrafted and pick a place as an undrafted free agent to sign with where you have a better chance
But
of
you get a
sticking.
lot of stuff. You get a parade. I think you
do?
go to Disneyland, I believe.
Mr. Irrelevant goes to Disney?
I think so.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. All right, it is Tuesday. That means it is time to catch up with Mike Wallace, senior editor at Grind City Media. He joins us every Tuesday. He joins us now. Mike, from the rainy patio, how's the weather out there? Did you get as bad of storms as we got downtown?
No, not as bad, but a lot of rain. It kind of mixed up and messed up some plans and those kind of things. A lot of graduation parties and things going on, but all good, man. It's beautiful. Nature is beautiful. We need the rain. You know what I mean? New Edition had a famous song about it. Can you stand the rain? CJ, can we stand the rain?
Can you stand the rain?
There we go. There we go.
That was beautiful. Thank you. How about I can't stand the rain?
Oh,
but I
Missy
like
Elliott.
the rain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blame it on the rain.
It's falling.
How about
blame it on the stars? They shine so bright.
Let the rain fall down and wash my dreams and then wash away my sanity.
This is your people's song, Jesse.
Let
You're
the
supposed to know that.
rain fall.
It raindrops. You're my. Oh, y'all know that one?
Wait,
I don't got that one.
Wait, do it
Candy
again.
Rain. Candy Rain by So For Real.
Oh,
Heavy
my
Beat, So For Real.
love.
There we go.
Do you ever dream of candy coated raindrops? Gonna see my candy rain.
All right, so
I remember that. I remember that on All That. That's the move they was doing.
Can we just do a pick six of rain songs?
We could do a pick six.
Rain,
We're not doing the show this week.
rain.
There you go, Jess. There you go. That's the mic
It's
drop.
raining, man. Hallelujah.
Jessica,
it's
please stop
raining,
objectifying us.
Hey,
I'd like to exist without the female gaze. Is what I would like to.
I'm so sorry. The matriarchy got a little out of control this morning. All right, Mike, we have NBA playoffs.
You took it a little far on that last one.
I'm sorry, a classic rain song. I will not have any shame on the Weather Girls. Did the Weather Girls do any other song? That feels like is it a one-hit wonder? I feel like they had at least one more. No. The Weather Girls had at least one more song.
There's no way they had another song. They're a one-hit wonder. We talk about another Weather Girls song.
Did they do I'm So Excited? I think they did I'm So Excited. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it.
That's them? That's Weather Girls?
I think so, unless they were doing a cover of it.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure. I didn't say
Jessica,
it with confidence.
I would look, but I'm untangling your necklace. Speaking of the matriarchy.
Nobody asked you to untangle.
Asked me to.
No, you came and took it from me because you are convinced that you can do something that I have been working hard on. All right, well, you work on that.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to chat. I'm going to chat with Mike about not just the NBA playoffs, Mike, but we also find out the NBA all-rookie teams tonight. And it's been a little quiet on the Grizzlies news front, the Grizzlies actual news front, but perhaps tonight they will be mentioned once again. Do you expect one or two Memphis Grizzlies to be on that first team all-rookie?
You know what? I expect one for sure, right? I mean, Jalen Wells is definitely on there. He finished third in NBA all rookie of the year balloting last month. So, he's going to be up there right behind. Obviously, he was behind the winner, Stephon Castle, and Zachary Risacher. So it's one of those things where if you're top three, then you're top five. So he's going to get a first team spot. Zach Edey competed for one towards the last month of the season. Now the question is did he do enough to overpass, Alexander Sarr and Messi and some of those other guys that kind of, have been a little bit more productive on worse teams throughout the season. So I say 1.5, but I would go 1 for sure, and then we'll see if Zach Edey squeezes in. But he'll definitely be at least second team all rookie. And hey, kudos to the Grizzlies for drafting 2 great guys who were contributors to this rotation.
Are we ever going to find out who is the MVP? What is your theory on why this is taking so long?
I mean, you want to build up to the MVP. You know what I mean? I think that has to come, especially now. You're looking at somewhere in the second round. Normally they announce it around that time. Unfortunately, sometimes guys that win it are already eliminated from the playoffs, and that's a bad look. I remember Dirk Nowitzki won it the year that they got bounced in the first round, and he had to, they had to come together and pull together a press conference for him when he, disrupted his offseason several years ago. So hopefully it comes in the next. It's going to come in this round, but hopefully it comes before too much longer.
It feels like it's been forever. Do you still think it's going to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
That's a great, because I was leading right into that.
Yeah.
I think it still will be because the votes were already tallied. I don't think there's a chance, you can't go back and change what you saw and what you put in terms of your ballot. But I do think Nikola Jokic proved that he is the most valuable singular player in the NBA because of what he was able to do to push them to a Game 7. I don't think you need to delay the ballot until the playoffs. I think that would be unfair because it's a regular season award. The finals and the playoffs have their own version of the MVP. But I do think Jokic basically will have a lot of guys having ballot remorse right now because of the way he produced and performed and carried his team through.
It is I understand that it's all television, baby. It's all entertainment. But because it is a regular season ballot, I would prefer for those awards to be announced before the NBA playoffs, or at least early in the NBA playoffs, because by the time you get to it, it can shift the thought process and it can feel a little weird. And ultimately, I think it won't feel egregious in any way because at the end of the day, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder are in the Western Conference Finals, and you can absolutely look at the season that SGA had, make an MVP case for it, and say he was the best player on the best team, even though Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world, carrying a team that would be in a lot worse shape without him.
Yeah. I think that's fair. That's absolutely fair. And I don't think there's a level of egregiousness to it whatsoever. I mean, these guys are still 1A, 1B, no matter what, no matter how you slice it. It's just that Jokic proved, and ultimately credit the Thunder, man, because they figured out a way to kind of solve the Nikola Jokic, riddle. And he was still dominant, but he didn't, they pretty much isolated him and made him basically a one-on-one player. And, he didn't have enough depth to eventually and ultimately carry them through the rest of that series. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, for what he's done on both ends of the floor, for the way that his team rallies around him, they put him in the perfect situation, and he delivers every single time. Whereas Nikola Jokic puts his team in a situation, and will they deliver and give him the support that he needs? Some nights they have, some nights they haven't. I think he was a little bit tough on himself at the end when he said, we obviously don't have enough to win a championship. He was looking right in the moment. I think that team, with some health, will be another contender next year as well, too. And like I said, I go into next year giving him all of the 100% of the credit for being the singular best player in the NBA right now. And I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that that's the case.
Do we not give him any blame for getting blown out 3 times in this series? Wasn't it 3 games of 30-point blowouts? If you're the best player, is that acceptable? Can you be the best player in the world getting your ass beat like that in a 7-game series?
Yeah, you still can, because you still pushed it to Game 7. And, you did everything you could. I mean, you look across the NBA right now in these playoffs, they're feast or famine games. Either they're coming down to the buzzer or they're blowouts. There's not like that middle ground where you're seeing a lot of 10, 8, 10, 6, 7 games decided by those middle margins. That just shows you that the margin for error is so thin. You could take a game that's tight one game and it becomes a blowout the very next game. I don't think he got his ass whipped. I think that they won the games that they needed to win to force a Game 7, and you go on the road in the toughest place that there was to play. You have an early double-figure lead, and then they just overwhelm you. There's no shame in being overwhelmed by Oklahoma City, no matter who you are, because this won't be the last time that they do that to anybody. Obviously, the Grizzlies know firsthand how that feels to be in that situation. But, again, one man can't beat Oklahoma City. It's not going to happen. It just will not happen. And
you didn't get the efficiency that you needed from Jamal Murray, and Aaron Gordon getting the hamstring strain was like the end of the road. But ultimately, I mean, throughout the entire series, you saw it was Jokic and Murray who were really the only two players who were able to generate offense consistently for the Nuggets, primarily with that almost exclusively going to Jokic. And you just had weak shooters around. You were a little leaky on defense. You had to resort to the zone time and time again. And that's where it does become an interesting turning point for the Nuggets, because obviously they made the coaching change in the middle. And I didn't realize, I thought all NBA teams had to do exit interviews, Mike. That's not a league mandate.
Well, they do it within their internally, right?
Okay.
They don't have to,
but you don't have to do a media.
Yeah, you don't have to media. That's
because
always
the Nuggets aren't doing them. So their comments after the game were their comments for the offseason.
Right.
But there was a pretty heavy layer of, just as we looked here in Memphis with what are players going to say about Tomas Isolo coming out of the season, and is there the stamp of approval feeling? It did feel as if there was a stamp from the likes of Jokic, from Murray on David Adelman coming out of his interim run with the Nuggets. But they obviously have front office decisions to make and clarity moving forward. But how do you not look at it and think we are wasting a championship window with the best player in the world? And I know, again, it goes back to just how difficult it is to actually win a championship. So when we have these conversations, that always has to hold like pretty heavy weight. But there does have to be a frustration where you got one, and if you never get another one again while Jokic is on the Denver Nuggets, it will feel like a failure. And I hate that because you got one, but still.
Yeah, it would feel like you came up drastically short, right?
Yes.
But you know what? Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and the Boston Celtics are asking themselves that same question. They got one. Can they get another one? They see how hard it is. Giannis Antetokounmpo, who will be the talk of the summer, and the Milwaukee Bucks got one. They see how tough it is to get two. Denver can be in that same category. I don't think that they're necessarily wasting a championship window. I just think it's by fluke and by other circumstances that Jamal Murray hasn't been an all-star yet, but you can look at it and say they haven't surrounded him with another all-star, a second all-star, and yet they won a championship. I think they're a lot closer to getting right back to where, top 3 in the West, top 4 in the West, than they are going the other way. I believe in what they're doing, but yeah, you got to figure out, is Michael Porter Jr., if you're going to be paying him what you're paying him at almost a max, is he going to give you what you need to get? Aaron Gordon, is he still going to be able to give you what you need? And you have to play more than their depth has to get better.
Mm-hmm.
They had some great moments from Strother. They had, Russell Westbrook can play you in and out of a game sometimes in the same quarter. He's very Dylan Brooksian when it comes to that, in terms of shooting you in and shooting you out of a situation. So they definitely have some questions to answer. But, again, when you have that guy in the middle, the number 1, number 2, maybe number 3 player in the NBA, you're definitely, your window is still open.
Yeah, and it'll be about whether or not they can put the right pieces around them. And one of the things with the second apron and the luxury tax in general is the fact that you end up having to let a Brown go, the short Brown. Remember him, the short bald guy that was running around? You had to let him go. Jessica, I'm talking. Please don't interrupt. You had to let Caldwell Pope go. Those guys were key contributors on that team when they won the championship. And if you had the vet presence of those guys with that type of championship experience, even when you're dealing with injuries to Aaron Gordon, even when you're dealing with injuries to Michael Porter Jr., you can lean on them as well. How many times in that deep playoff run that they had which resulted in a championship did we see, Caldwell Pope is balling out?
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, you need Michael Porter Jr. He's not performing. There's Caldwell Pope. The hustle play needs to be made. There's the veteran Brown, the little short black one, not the tall, lanky white one, right?
Bruce Brown. Yeah.
Bruce Brown. Thank you. There he
not
is.
Christian Brown, Bruce Brown.
Bruce Brown.
Brown spelled like the color.
Black Brown,
not spelled like it
white
should
Brown.
be Braun, but it's Brown.
Right, like there he is making the hustle plays. So you need those guys on your roster. The issue that everybody is finding right now is you can't afford those guys on your roster if you've got a couple of max players and one more. right? So you've got the max in Jokic. You got a max player in Murray. You got one more near it in Michael Porter Jr. Now it's hard to fill that out. The NBA has done, for better or worse, they've done a great job making it impossible, damn near impossible for you to win with a big three now. And that's just the game.
I've said this. I've been on the record saying this. Over the course of this season, is that the NBA really has to go back and look at its collective bargaining as it relates to the punitive luxury tax, second apron, and all of those things, because they're speaking out of the league is speaking out of both sides of its neck right now. On one regard, you put the Bird rule in place and all of these metrics in place to give home teams and local teams the advantage of being able to keep their stars, right? That's why your home team can give you a fifth year. No other team can give you a fifth year outside, right? If you go to free agency, the home team can exceed the salary cap in order to re-sign you. Other teams have to stay within it from that standpoint. So on one end, you're saying, hey, let's incentivize these teams to keep their cores together. But on the other end, you're punishing them for when they do that.
Yes.
And, there has to be a layer in there. And I've shared this before. The NBA has to look at a model where if you reach the conference finals, and it only should qualify for 4 teams, just like everybody shouldn't qualify for the Supermax. But if you reach the conference finals, 4 teams a year should be able to get tax breaks, from the punitive second apron by keeping their teams together. Because if you're a championship caliber roster, there should not be a way that you have to break it up, forced to break it up and be penalized for doing what you need to do to keep your team together. That's what the whole collective bargaining agreement was changed to give you the opportunity to do. And if you have some level of success, and I consider conference finals as a successful season, no matter who you are, you should be able to avoid the punitive tax in that way.
So you're saying 2 from the East, 2 from the West every year would be able to get into the tax without any, avoid the taxes. I got you.
Avoid it. And it doesn't people have to understand this too. The taxes do not get calculated until at the end of the season, until the final, game of the season. So where your salary cap is at the end of the season determines what your tax apron and your second apron and all of those things are. So you can accommodate the playoffs and say, oh, okay, guess what? The Knicks, the Pacers don't have to worry about it because they're not an apron team. But the Knicks, Minnesota, they should be able to get tax breaks at the end of the season because they advanced to the conference finals. Oklahoma City's not threatened by that right now because of the remarkable job that Presti's done managing his roster. And Indiana's done the same way. So I think that should be something the NBA should consider. Make it less punitive on teams that actually have success and teams to stay together.
I like that. We do get the conference finals beginning tonight. Thunder Timberwolves on ESPN. Knicks Pacers will be on TNT tomorrow. When you look at this Thunder team, 68 wins in the regular season. They sweep the Grizzlies in round 1. They go 7 with the Nuggets in round 2, and now face off against a Wolves team that got the Lakers in 5, got the Warriors in 5. OKC is favored in this series, favored to win the title, Mike. But do you see the Timberwolves as a potential tough matchup for the Thunder? Yes or no?
Absolutely not. And I'm going out on a limb here. This is my hot take. I think the Thunder will have a far easier time against the Minnesota Timberwolves, obviously, than they had against Denver. I think Denver was the litmus test for this OKC team. I think they technically cruise from here. I don't think Minnesota played down to the level of competition. And even though they dispatched the Warriors, those were some ugly games. They went into some where they couldn't score. They had some up and down moments from their supporting cast members. I just don't trust Minnesota in this situation. I think Oklahoma City is a juggernaut, and their confidence went to another level when they admitted that Denver put them through some things that they weren't expecting. I think Denver humbled Oklahoma City a little bit, and I don't want to say that they were too confident, but they knew that they were more than just a machine. They felt like they were just going to get through. They had to figure out ways to win games, and I think right now, if they stay healthy, barring anybody getting hurt, and we certainly have seen injuries impact the playoffs. But I think Oklahoma City wins this series. And I want to say 6 because I want to give it respect for being the Western Conference Finals. But this, to me, seems like a 4-1. I don't think Oklahoma City gets too challenged. They will get challenged, but I think they're tailor-made for a team like the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Pointer Sisters sang.
I know.
Okay.
And they also did Jump.
Yes.
For my love,
and
jumping.
so the only single that
the Weather
Girls
did
had
was It's Raining Men.
that charted in the U.S.
Thank you.
on the overall pop charts in the U.S.
Thank you
this
so much.
raining in. You're welcome.
I really appreciate that.
Now that I've untangled this necklace, I can do so much goofy stuff.
You are
over here.
invincible.
There you go, man. There you go. Hey, Jess, I don't think you're getting that chain back.
Probably
you
not. It's his now. He gets my
your
wedding
chain.
necklace. It's fine. It is what it is. It's allowed. No, Mike, I don't disagree with you. I want, for the sake of a competitive series and to have a fun Western Conference Finals ahead, to convince myself that, oh, well, maybe the Thunder can at least be tested by somewhat equal depth. I struggle to call it equal, but at least the Timberwolves have some depth. They're not the Knicks out here. Like, you have a Nas Reed, you have a Dante DiVincenzo who could get hot off the bench, and you do have a Timberwolves team where
Alexander Walker,
right, Nickeil Alexander Walker, and if they start hitting threes at the rate that they hit, especially the latter half of the regular season, sure. They could steal a game from the Thunder, but I look at the turnovers for the Timberwolves and the sloppiness that they played with, and how the Thunder just capitalize on those moments of chaos through their swarm of a defense. And 1 second, you're in a tight game like we saw with the Nuggets in Game 7, and the next you're down 14, but it feels like you're down 30 because you just turned it over 3 times in a row. And morally, it just sucks the air out of a team, out of a crowd if you're at home in Minnesota. And then my other big thing that we've talked a lot about is just, how does Julius Randle handle going up against a better, bigger team? Like, he was able to take advantage of a small Lakers team, a small Warriors team, and he looked awesome. And I thought it was very fun to see this confident, smiling Julius Randle, who was a massive reason why the Timberwolves were able to handle the Warriors. But when you have the length of the Timberwolves, I just think it could get dicey real quick. And I know all the focus is going to be on Anthony Edwards and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And perhaps this is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's true, like, stamp of his MVP moment, where it becomes crystal clear that, like, he is the leader of this Thunder team, even though I don't think he will have to be that yet again. Like, I think once again, you are not reliant on SGA going off for 30 plus in every game. As long as you get more from, like, a Jalen Williams, who finally looked more efficient in Game 7, and Chet Holmgren, like, steps up into that case. But I do think it's just it has the real potential to be kind of a bust of a Western Conference Finals. And I hope that I'm eating my words and that we're coming into tomorrow and we're like, wow, that was the best Game 1 we ever could have hoped for.
I want it to be a great series. I really do. And I think both series have the potential to be great series. I love the clash in terms of makeup of these teams. In Oklahoma City and in Indiana, you have the team-wide model, the depth model, the pace, all interchangeable guys model, the singular, not necessarily spending over the exorbitant amounts of money to retain stars just yet. You did it the sort of the internal way for the most part. You drafted and you got some guys in free agency. You got role players to step up, and then you got the big, the Knicks and the Timberwolves who paid heavy salaries. Right. They're both luxury tax teams, and they're doing it a different kind of way. So I'm looking forward to it. I agree with you wholeheartedly. The one thing I will say, Julius Randle will be the X factor because he does know Isaiah Hartenstein. Those two guys were teammates together in New York. So if anybody knows how to go up against them and try to neutralize them a little bit, it might be Julius Randle in that situation. And we'll see. Can that front line hold up against, the swarm of Oklahoma City? It's going to be an intriguing series, no question about it.
Knicks Pacers is all wrestling. Literally. Like, the fact that you had a WWE moment between Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton earlier this year is just perfection. And you throw in the New York versus Indiana piece of it. You throw in how rabid New York fans are right now. We already saw there was a Pacers fan who dared to wear his Pacers jersey in the heart of celebrating Knicks fans, and they threw trash at him. And now Tyrese Halliburton is flying him out for the game. If you take trash from fans in New York City, maybe Tyrese Halliburton will see it and reward you with tickets to the game. This is just on me, Mike. Yeah. I'm not wearing the opponent's team's jersey in the middle of a New York crowd. That could be anywhere. That could be at a Yankees game. That could be at a Mets game. That's at a Knicks game. Like, that's just something that I am choosing to protect my peace and protect my life. But it paid off for this guy.
Hey, you know what? That clip right there, I've seen it before. I mean, that's totally disturbing on a number of levels. Number one, you don't have the wherewithal to understand you're triggering a lot of things that come back your way. But man, that's the mob mentality right there. You get hit with trash. You got 30 people holding cell phones instead of trying to diffuse the situation. If somebody just start busting off in that crowd, then it'll be a problem, right? Like that dude could have gotten seriously hurt. It could have been much uglier than that situation happened. But hey, listen, nothing happened horribly. And everybody can look forward to a great series. That series reminds me so much of Reggie Miller and the choke and Spike Lee on the side and all of those things from the 90s. I'm looking forward to that side.
And you get Reggie on the call. So it's like absolute perfection. All right, Mike. We'll catch up with you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
See you later. That's Mike Wallace. You can find all his latest up on grindcitymedia.com. I would not want to get pelted with trash.
But this is what happens overseas, right? Where they don't let opposing fans into various arenas. You went to a soccer match where that was the case, wasn't it?
Yes. You had to go through SWAT.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Mob
you might
mentality.
Die.
Yeah.
I saw there was also a video where a Knicks fan ran up to Brian Windhorst afterwards. And I have to give Wendy sincere credit. He looked really cool in what could have been a not cool moment. They were like, how does it feel for the Knicks to beat the Celtics? And he just kind of laughed. And he almost went into, this is why he was gonna do the X's and O's of it. He was prepared, he was on his stuff. And then the Knicks fan just interrupted him and kept laughing. And I was like, oh, they're crazy. My husband often says the reason he is the way he is because he went to school in New York. They were just born and bred differently up there, especially when it comes to sports and watching sports and consuming sports.
As cool of a story as it is, we as a collective are not prepared for the New York Knicks to be this. We just aren't.
No.
That's a fan base that should be forced to lay dormant for 50 years.
Because you think about Sixers fans, I have always had this thought that I would die in Philadelphia. I don't know if I could handle what it is like to be involved in the sports scene in Philadelphia and the insanity
particularly
and meanness.
For most cities, the biggest sports team professionally there, the ones that have professional teams, the biggest one there is the football team. So, if the Philadelphia 76ers win the championship, this is going to be crazy, but it's not going to be near what it is for the Eagles.
Yeah.
In New York City, the team is the Knicks.
Yeah.
That's what makes it such a unique thing right now.
Even the Celtics have the Patriots.
Yeah. Yeah, you thought it was bad that one boat hit the Brooklyn Bridge. Just you imagine if the Knicks win a championship, how many boats are going to be crashing into stuff?
I always think back, I was in New York when Argentina won the World Cup, and there was a celebration that popped off in Times Square just organically. And this is in New York. Argentina wins the World Cup. Mm-hmm. But the celebration that I got swept into was one of the craziest fan reactions or fan experiences, I should say, that I've ever seen in person. And to think that that was just for a country that is not the home of that city makes me, again, we're a long ways away from a Knicks victory parade, but I just want to see it with my own eyes. I literally think I'm rooting for the Knicks in the finals just because I want to see what would happen to New York City if the Knicks won a championship.
Once.
Just once.
Just once in my lifetime. And then let it be another 60 years before they get another one.
I feel like they'd have to cancel the Broadway shows.
They would.
People wouldn't be able to get there.
No, they would.
The actors wouldn't be able to get there.
The actors would be on the buses with the people.
Yeah, thank you for assuming that us musical sports hybrids all have a place.
If you're in New York and the Knicks win a championship, everybody's going to that damn parade.
That's wild. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the news that the NFL has reportedly decided players are allowed to participate in flag football in the Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028. We'll get into that. Plus, TV Tuesday ahead, what we're watching. We have a special guest joining us for TV Tuesday today. That's when we come back.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball. But the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board. A class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
With a knockaway. Good defense. Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Catch us if you can at Southland Casino Hotel and win your share of up to $1.8 million in free play and prizes. Join us for drawings every Saturday in May, June, and July. Each month, over 900 winners will take home free play or drive off in a new car or motorcycle. Be there for all 6 grand finale drawings and try to catch us if you can, only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
I thought Penny was smart to handle this the way he handled it. He expressed frustration with the system, the chaotic nature of it. The price hike on eggs ain't got nothing on the price hike on basketball players. The same dude who cost you $150,000 last summer is costing you $500,000 right now. I understand his sentiment, but he stopped well short of criticizing PJ Haggerty.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
We're going to do our pick 6, 6 favorite Outkast songs in honor of Outkast being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Elevators is the most creative.
Me and you.
Yes. Your mama and your cousin too.
Every time I hear somebody say me and you, I
just go to the next one, right?
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back. I just saw a crazy stat, CJ. Did you know that it has been 29 years since the Western Conference Finals have not featured a team from either Texas or California?
29 years.
29 years.
So.
Since 1996.
All right, hold on.
I was 4.
96. That would be the Jazz. And Jazz and the Sun, was that Charles Barkley last run with them? I think it's Jazz and the Suns. Final answer.
Wrong.
What was it?
Jazz, Supersonics.
Supersonics.
Jazz.
Missed it.
Supersonics. You had, Malone and Stockton for the Jazz, and then Peyton Kemp.
Yeah.
Irvin Johnson. Wow. And now you have the Thunder. So was it?
Well, you have to.
So it's all
thinking
connected.
about it. The Lakers had their run. And the Spurs would be there, and then the Mavs would also be there.
And then the Warriors
And then the Warriors are having theirs at the same time as the Rockets are having theirs. That makes sense. I believe that.
There's also just a heavy number of teams in California and Texas.
Well,
they are our 2 biggest states.
Was that 6 teams? Clippers?
Rockets, Spurs, Mavs, Clippers, Lakers, Warriors, Kings.
7.
Yeah.
So
But the Kings.
That's about half of the West.
Kings.
That's about half of the West, yeah.
I saw breaking news this morning that I got quite excited about, and that is that the NFL is expected to vote later today in favor, or to allow, I should say, NFL players to participate in the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. It is expected to pass at today's league meeting in Minneapolis. Nothing is official yet, but one source told Adam Schefter that it should be an easy vote because we are not having what happened with 3-on-3 basketball happen to this country again. We will not be embarrassed on the international stage by a sport that by all means we should dominate. We will send our best. We will send our mightiest. We will send NFL players.
What is more important to you?
Okay.
You're a football player.
Okay.
You're a good football player
Okay.
also. You're a Pro Bowl level football player. Olympic gold medal or Super Bowl?
They say that outside of serving your country,
I know what they say.
the greatest thing you could do is win a gold medal for your country.
All right, so what's your answer?
I'm a red-blooded American. I think I'd rather win a Super Bowl.
Okay. All right, then that's as far as win the Super Bowl. What about make a Super Bowl appearance? Or
No, I'd rather have a gold medal than
gold
make a
medal
Super
than
Bowl. Yeah.
win
Make it isn't enough.
make the playoffs.
No, not
or,
make the playoffs.
Or gold medal. Okay.
Honestly, in that case, I would rather compete in the Olympics than make the playoffs.
In
But I would
flag
rather
football.
hoist
Whoa.
the
In flag
Lombardi.
football. We're talking flag football.
Yeah, in flag
Okay.
football. In flag football.
Something that's not going to be a sport in the next Olympics and probably will not be
It is
a
in the
sport.
next Olympics.
Is it?
2028, Los Angeles,
Okay,
home turf.
in the following Olympics. In 2032, it's not going to be a sport.
Can it be a sport in 2032?
Yeah, they can vote
It'll be
to
okay.
make it a sport
I bet
in
it becomes a
2032.
thing. Here,
I
you want
doubt
my
it.
hot take?
Go ahead.
This is
Give it
the
to
honest
me.
to God truth.
Give it to me.
And you're gonna hate it.
Yes.
And everyone's gonna hate it. And
Yes.
I hate it because I love football.
Yes.
I think 50 years from now, the NFL as we know it will not exist. The NFL will play flag football. I do not think tackle football exists 50 years from now.
Okay.
If we exist 50 years from now.
I can see some of that
Yeah.
happening, but it'll be incremental changes that end up happening.
I think this is step one.
Okay.
And that's where I think we will have flag football in every Olympics from here on out. The NFL has been trying desperately to raise the international profile of the sport. And I remember there was some conversation with one of the owners. It was probably Jerry Jones, because it's always Jerry Jones. But talking about the leveling up of the league versus the leveling up of the sport. And like this notion of if you went to another country and just put a football in a young kid's hands and said, go throw this football around, would the sport grow faster than necessarily bringing the Jacksonville Jaguars to play another lowly attended game in Wembley Stadium? And just kind of trying to figure out which helps the game grow quicker. And I think flag football can represent an opportunity for the game to grow quicker, because other countries look at the depravity of American football and are like, well, we're not going to play that over here. One, because we're not good at it. We haven't been building the sport in our country, and everything is about soccer or international football. And flag football presents a sport where you don't have to damage your brain.
I think that we as Americans are thirsty for despicable violence at every level. And I think football represents that in a controlled setting. And I'm not sure if it goes away. Tackle football ever goes away. Unless something
insane.
else comes along to replace it. Right? Like we need our pound of flesh over here in a way that I'm not sure everybody else does. So I don't think it goes away.
Don't worry, when the Hunger Games start rolling out,
we'll
like
win
perhaps
that.
that'll be the
whatever
opportunity
whatever
for
district
everyone.
we're in, we're winning that. Also, you tell poor people, hey, you can get rich. How do I do it? Buy lottery tickets or break down your body. Whichever one you want to do. It's like, okay, I'll take that gamble. Yeah. I'll have my 7-year-old playing football year round, which is the case in Memphis. Like 8-year-olds just football year round because, hey, this is my chance to make it and my chance to get famous and my chance to get this money. So damn my 8-year-old brain and body. Let's just run out there and beat it until I don't know where I am or what I do anymore. With all of that being said, I think it's a gimmick. I don't think that this is a round. The NFL might want it to be around. I don't think this is a round flag football at international level by 2032. I don't think it's there for that Olympics or the 2036 Olympics or the 2040 Olympics. I think that this will exist as a snapshot in time. The same way that breakdancing did, right? Like breakdancing pops in for that one and then it's gone. The difference between the two is one is football, which we as Americans love dearly. The other one is breakdancing, which is cool to see on the dance floor, but we not doing whole halftime shows at the best dance contest every single year, which means to me, if I was a good football player, ain't no way in hell I'd be in this. I wouldn't want to be in this.
I completely understand that argument. Like the risk of, if anything, it's going to be the competitive drive and the cool factor of saying, I won a gold medal for my country. And they don't have to play for the United States of America. I think it's going to be 6 countries that participate in flag football. We do not know all the countries yet, but USA is one of them. I have no idea. Australia? Italy? Japan?
No to Italy. So Samoa? Are
then
they
the U.S.
a
should be
country or
scared.
territory?
The U.S. should be scared because everything I know of flag football, well, it's less about tackle. Obviously, it's no tackle. It's grabbing the flag. It's agility, and then you need like 3 of your 5 players to be able to throw the football well.
Yeah.
Throw and catch. So it really is a different sport. But I think athletes by nature are so competitive, and being given the opportunity to do this and to win, and the assumption that the United States should absolutely dominate the sport. And I think there is incentive from the NFL now. Like this stamp of approval, hey, you're allowed to do this, is also them recognizing this is a positive thing for our sport. And there could be an encouragement factor. I think Jalen Hurts has been one of the primary faces attached to this if it was going to happen.
Yeah, but again, I just don't. Everything you're saying is right about like what the steps are that are being taken right now. I just disagree with every single step because I don't think that the world is interested in playing football in that sort of a way. And we're not interested in watching football where dudes' brains aren't getting rattled.
I know.
We aren't interested
But
in
we
that.
are interested in watching the country win things. The amount of, God, we watch pole vaulting.
Yes.
We watch swimming once
Absolutely.
every 4 years. We
Right.
watch something else random.
Gymnastics.
We watch skeet shooting.
Yes, all skeet. But yeah, we watch those once every 4 years. We watch the NFL nonstop though. And so for me, it's one of those things where, okay, here's this cool little gimmicky thing I can go out there and do that would be akin to winning a Pro Bowl, basically. Or I can just
It's not akin.
That.
You cannot call the Olympics akin to winning the Pro Bowl.
A gold medal.
A gold medal at the Olympics?
In flag football, I'd rather play in the Pro Bowl. I'd rather play in the Pro Bowl.
That's insane.
What do you want from me?
It's a gold medal. I understand.
Flag football, it's not a
I
real
don't care.
sport.
It is a real. They're making it a real sport, and the growth of flag football is
6
not
countries
only,
is a real sport.
I'm not only with men.
Okay.
You want to know what was on television? You want to know what was on the NFL Network last night? A girls' flag football game.
Girls and women's.
Women. I'm sorry.
Okay, come on.
My bad.
Be a better ally.
I'm just a girl.
I know.
So I make all the girls the girl. Let's go, girls. It's so much more fun. Women is such a boring word. Let's get into it. I think I would much rather.
Wow.
But I don't want to be called a girl in like a little girl kind of way. And be like, yeah, you go, girl. But not from you, I guess. I don't want men to call me girl. I just want my girls to call me girl.
What the hell am I supposed to call you broads then?
My name's Jessica.
Oh, get
not
out of here.
broads.
Why not?
Certainly not broads.
Why? She's
Because
a tough old
I
broad.
am a dignified woman.
No, you just said woman is boring.
I really think that you will see some of the biggest names in the sport play flag football in the Olympics, and that this is just the beginning. Like this is the beginning of an attempt to legitimatize flag football in our world.
It won't work.
And it will be a fight forever.
It won't work.
Nobody wants to get rid of the NFL. Like you said, the NFL is the most American thing we have.
Mm-hmm.
They are our gladiators.
Mm-hmm.
They are our non-war fighting warriors. What did Jacob say? Now you have,
Jacob
to, now you have to share.
Jacob said, go to Texas and tell those dudes down there you're not playing football anymore. You're going to play
understand.
flag football.
I know.
They'll secede from the union.
They'll say really nasty stuff.
Yes.
The entire SEC, right here.
The entire SEC, the entire Midwest. Go to rural Iowa and
I'm
take
sorry.
the football away from those people.
The entire Midwest, the entire Big Ten, which stretches from sea to shining sea, from USC to Rutgers.
I'm just not sure if they play football in Los Angeles, to be honest with you.
Oh, they're threatening to get rid of the USC Notre Dame rivalry game.
Who's threatening
We'll
that?
talk about this tomorrow.
Okay.
Both schools, they can't come to an agreement.
What?
I know.
What a joke
I know.
Notre Dame is.
What a joke conference realignment
Bum-ass
has
school.
sent to various rivalries in this beautiful sport. All right, we have to take a quick break. When we come back, TV Tuesday, what we are watching. Special guest, Alex Carmedelle. He's a real big TV writer from Los Angeles. He's written on shows like Get Shorty and Shameless. He's going to join us in studio, talk a little bit about what it's like to be a writer for television in Hollywood, what his favorite shows are right now. He's been staying with Chris and I for the last week, so we've watched some good shows along the way, too. We'll get into all that when we come back.
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of 99 Tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With special guests 3 doors down. And Mammoth WVH. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Creed returns, the Summer of 99 Tour.
The First Ladies of FedEx Forum, the Grizz Girls, are known across the NBA for setting the standard for professional dance and entertainment. And they are looking for dancers to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. With the chance to gain professional dance experience and connect with the Memphis community, auditioning for the Grizz Girls is an opportunity you do not want to miss. Come show up at Open Call Auditions Saturday, July 26th at the Memphis Sports and Events Center. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
The other thing that came out this week that we were talking about innovation and Nike and all that, they dropped these $900 hyper boots that
900.
I mean, they're a recovery shoe apparently that you wear after sports, whatever.
Who's buying it? Because all the athletes that we see, they're gonna get seated this. So who's gonna actually pay $900 for this?
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app. Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
All right, welcome back on this TV Tuesday, and we have a special guest on TV Tuesday. It is one of the funniest people I know. Also, full disclaimer, one of my dearest friends, Alex Carmedelle, a real TV writer from Los Angeles. That's how I keep introducing him to people here in Memphis. Hi, Alex.
Hello, good morning. Happy TV Tuesday
Happy
to
TV
all
Tuesday.
of you and those that celebrate.
I couldn't have a TV Tuesday with you in town without bringing a TV writer. And the way that this all actually panned out was we were watching the second to last episode of Hacks.
That's right.
That was out. And Jean Smart's character goes and watches a stand-up comedy show, and she's inspired by the comedian that she sees. She's like, hey, you should come on my show. And I was like, Alex, you should come on the show on Tuesday. And
I've been trying to get on this show for years. It's
we're making it
happening
happen
for me.
So Alex is a writer. He's written on shows like Get Shorty with Ray Romano. He wrote on Shameless. Was Shameless your first show?
Yeah, I was the writer's assistant on Shameless, so kind of like a baby writer. I didn't write episodes, but there it is. I was in the room taking notes, sort of helping organize story, which was just an amazing learning experience. John Wells ran that room. It was just kind of a masterclass, and like, this is how we break a season of television. It's beautiful. And from there, I went to Get Shorty, and then I was on a Peacock show called Those About to Die, which was about gladiators in ancient Rome and kind of the intersectionality of politics and sports, and something you guys might talk about on the show a little bit.
Yeah, Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Sir Anthony Hopkins was in it. He was on like the front of every poster,
Yes.
and he was probably 8th on the call sheet. But
He was on the show for minutes.
3 episodes, and some whole scenes he was in. But when you have Anthony Hopkins on your show, you got to lead with that.
Well, you've worked with some big names at this point, between like William H. Macy on Shameless, Ray
For sure,
Romano on Get Shorty, and it is very fun to say, oh, my friend works on this show and there's this celebrity. But for you, it's obviously more about the writing. Like we've been joking the whole time you're here. I'll bring up some random Hollywood drama. We were talking about Justin Bieber in our household the other day, and he's like, oh, I have no idea what's going on with Justin Bieber. And I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense because you're more on the industry side. But just for your job, explain to people, what is it like being a writer for television, living in Los Angeles?
There's so much gainful employment to go around right now, and everyone's just working.
You're a member
nonstop.
of the WGA.
I'm a member of the Writers Guild. Shout out Organized Labor. Organized Labor is going to save this country. But yeah, so it's all freelance. There are maybe you have an overall deal at a studio if you're like super high level, but for a staff writer like myself, you go show to show. You come in to a season 1 show. Everyone sort of comes in with pitches. What do we want these characters to do this season? What do we want the big storylines to be? And then you sort of zoom in. A creative process I'm sure you're kind of familiar with in sports journalism.
It's all entertainment. Like at the end of the day, that's what every single thing is about. And you specifically, it's interesting because you're very funny. Like,
oh, thank you.
You're welcome. People who I introduce you to here, I'm like, oh, he's the one who did Chris's best man speech. And they're like, oh, that guy.
I forgot to include that in my list of credits.
Yeah, you really should have. It's some of your best writing work.
Jess and Chris best man
today.
Speech.
Well, it's kind of like your place at the wedding was Jess and Chris best man speech, and CJ's place at the wedding was man who took off his shirt.
Man not wearing a shirt.
When I was like, oh, have you met CJ? And you're like, of course I've met CJ. I've seen CJ shirtless. And I said, oh, you've been in such an interesting situation.
That's right.
Together at this point.
I don't think I noticed that until I was midway through the speech, and I was like, gaining momentum, and then I look and I just see you with your shirt off, and it was hot in that tent.
It was hot. It was warm.
I was jealous. I mean, I pretty much had my shirt off. How much I was sweating in that tent. In my
Everybody
white
did. It's
shirt.
fine.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to write a scene about our wedding. And is that annoying? Like, I assume I'm not the only one who constantly tries to insert myself in your work, and someday I hope I am. But does everybody come to you and be like, "Hey, do you want to write about this funny story that happened to me?"
Yes, but sometimes they're insane. I will, shout out mom and dad. Every once in a while, they'll throw me something, or my sister, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, that's maybe not a full story that this happened to you at the grocery store. But then you meet someone that's like, oh yeah, I was in the Peace Corps, and we got home invaded by this Romanian gang, and this happened. And those are the people that are like, that's probably stupid. You probably don't want to write about that. I was like,
no, that's
can
fascinating.
I option your life rights right now? That's unbelievable.
So what type of writer are you? Like, do you want to go more? Are you more comedy, dramedy, drama, action, suspense? Like, what's going on? I have no clue what it means to be a writer in LA.
You didn't watch my entire body of work before this show last night? You didn't watch all 3 seasons of Get Shorty and read my unproduced pilots? No,
you got unproduced pilots?
Yeah, well, I've been lucky enough to sell a couple of pilots, and I spoke to the studio, and I am not allowed to talk about any of them. I called them. I was like, I can just talk about this, right? And they were like, we will lose our minds. Please don't do that.
Well, this is the hottest show in Memphis, so
it's the hottest show in Memphis. I mean, you've broken all sorts of stories.
Yeah.
The first time I heard that Justin Bieber wasn't doing well was from you. So you really got your finger on the pulse. But no, I lean more hour-long dramedy, just kind of with a focus where I think TV has really gone in the last decade is like hyper-grounded content, like Breaking Bad. Yeah, a science teacher cooking meth, that's a little out there, it's a little broad, but the conversations he's having with Jesse, his marriage with Skylar, like finding extraordinary situations and then grounding them in normal things, like Sopranos, like, Tony's out whacking people, but he is also co-parenting his daughter with his wife, and they're trying to figure out how to discipline her. Do we take away her phone? Like stuff like that is what really gets me going, and I think that's where the industry has sort of skewed lately.
That's what I was going to ask. Is that where the money is, or the most? I guess.
It's where the prestige
promising.
is. The money is in NCIS. You get those.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You write one episode of that, your residuals are coming in for life. It's good. I have a coworker. He wrote a couple episodes of the first season of Law and Order, and he says those checks are still bigger than like some of the checks he get from like shows he's created.
Oh, but you have no interest in doing. I mean, obviously, if the money was there, you would be happy to write an episode for Law and Order.
CBS,
Law and Order, if you're listening.
I am available and ready to rock. I can be on a plane out of Memphis Airport in 20 minutes. I'll be there to write Law and
No,
Order.
I don't know about that. It's a little slow. As you've learned, being in the South for a few days,
Y'all
he was
got
like,
a slower pace of life down here.
we went to Kroger yesterday. He's like, I was going to kill someone.
People just stopping in the aisles just
in the middle of the aisle.
Just to like have, take a little pause in the cereal aisle.
Sometimes you just
Unbelievable.
want to smell the unopened boxes of Cheerios.
That's right.
That's how life works.
The checkout lady, it's like she's done bagging. Everyone's out of the way. She's just chatting up with the bag guy. How's it going?
What else is she supposed to do?
Scan my groceries. Get me out of there. Jess was waiting in the parking lot. Jess was waiting.
What else have you learned about Memphis while you've been here this time? Because you came in 2017 when we first moved.
That's right.
And funny enough, you also came at Barbecue Fest time. But at that point, we had just moved here. We didn't know a soul. So we take our friends from out of town thinking we can just bop on down to Barbecue Fest, and didn't know you needed to know people in tents, didn't eat any food.
Yeah.
Ended up walking
I got
straight
to
back
watch
to
a lot
home.
of people eat food.
Yeah, you watched people eat, you watched people drink, but there weren't really opportunities for you to do so.
Right.
This time around, we were down at Smoke Slam. We've been here, a significant period of time
my
now,
God.
and you are able to eat, drink, be merry.
Yeah.
You said you're going to join a Barbecue Fest team.
I'm joining multiple Barbecue Fest teams.
Or Smoke
next
Slam
year.
team, I should
Smoke
say.
Slam team. Yeah, sorry. I know it's a bit of a rivalry.
You're learning already.
I am. No, I learned Memphis does not mess around when it comes to barbecue, and I feel like I already knew that. I just also feel like the Southern hospitality is really real down here. I had multiple people the first time meeting them be like, well, next time you want to come down, like we got a guest room, y'all come stay with us. Like is beautiful.
You're going to leave our loft?
I might, it's people offered me rooms that have doors, so I might.
Okay.
No, I'm not trying to throw shade at the loft.
Okay,
I love
we
the loft.
offer our
But it
home.
doesn't have a door.
We offer it's a loft. Lofts don't have doors.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
And also, like you can look down into the master bedroom as well, so it's not a wall there either. And I'm sure
It's hard to look
and
down
it's
into
not
the
that
master
hard.
bedroom.
I'm sure
you're
you
really
snore a
tall.
lot.
Most people are.
I can't
Alex is
see
not
it.
your height. I'm
I'm
sorry.
not-
Well, thanks for that, Jessica.
You're so welcome.
You're awful.
I'm sorry I made you feel uncomfortable about your height, CJ.
Oh, I'm so sorry you're tall. Tall guys have it so hard.
You want to know what's hard?
Somebody stopped me
You
in the
wanna know
grocery
what's
store.
hard?
Was like, hey, can you reach that up there for me? It's like I don't want to be helpful. Woman.
Do you know what that would
As
do
the
for my
person who
ego?
has
If someone
can
asked me to reach
anybody,
something?
the next time he's in the Memphis Kroger, can you please just ask this nice young man from Los Angeles to reach for something for you? And he'd be
Please.
like, I would be happy to.
I can open a jar of pickles.
Congratulations.
I can do whatever.
I think one of the hardest things about having you visit is watching TV with you, because I did not anticipate what it is like to sit and watch television with a writer of television, because one, I want you to like what I'm watching, because it feels like a stamp of approval of what Chris and I watch. Like, critically acclaimed. I don't know, CJ, we talk about this often.
Don't worry,
It goes back to some deeply
every
rooted
single
thing.
day. Just know you get an F from me. You
Great.
fail.
Awesome. Let me put it in my notebook. But it is an interesting thing too, like from a joke perspective, like what you laugh at, what you are moved by. And since you've been here, we have watched SNL. Did you watch SNL this week, CJ? Not yet. Okay. Final episode of SNL this season.
Did anybody leave?
Not officially, which was very odd. We watched an episode of Hacks. We watched The Last of Us. And we started a show called Overcompensating last night. I want to start with The Last of Us because it's in that drama space and the traditional prestige TV realm that we were talking about. And it was such an interesting episode that went in a direction different from what we've anticipated, with high action, a lot of blood, a lot of gore, a lot of like constant movement. It was told in flashbacks. It was a really beautiful episode of TV.
Yeah.
Does that stand, like when you leave an episode of television like that, do you think about it? Like do you keep
big
going
time.
back to it?
You say, you're like that. I mean, that episode of The Last of Us, of Moth and Men, was that what the episode was called? I forget what it was called, but it was very special. I think especially the way they found a way to live in those very small moments, those very quiet slice of life moments where they're walking through the woods, or he takes her to the space museum, and then they built on that.
The price.
I don't know where I got Of Moths and Men from. That might have been a previous episode.
All right.
Doesn't matter.
There were a lot of moths.
There were a lot of moths.
Maybe the next episode.
It might have
is
been a
of
review
Moths
I
and Men.
saw titled their review, The Moths and Men. Shout out AV Club. But no, I think that was a really special episode of TV. This sort of trend of like the mid-season flashback episode, when done well, can just be a grand slam. I've seen it done not well.
Yeah.
You have shows like Little Fires Everywhere or Apples Never Fall, where it's like the mystery, and then they have the flashback episode, and it's like, here's how everyone got here, and it feels a little bit
forced,
paint by numbers. But this was it was beautiful in the way we learn about their dynamic. Am I allowed to talk about spoilers?
We do no spoilers.
No spoilers.
I
Okay.
try. I fail often, but no
Okay.
spoilers. But the relationship and finding out more pieces of that.
it backfills the relationship, and
Yeah,
it's
I know.
beautiful.
It was fun to watch it with you, and you're like, oh, that was great.
I touched my
was like,
heart
yeah,
a couple
that was
times.
great.
That's how you know I'm loving it.
Have you watched Sex Therapy, the Michelle Williams show?
Dying for Sex.
Oh, Dying for Sex. God, CJ.
I have not. So funny about that. That was originally a podcast produced by Wondery. I had an overall meeting with Wondery, or a general meeting, and that was one of the things where I was like, oh, I really like this.
Oh.
Could I do something with this? I think maybe the male writer perspective wasn't exactly what they were looking for. I brought it to my agents. They were like, yeah, I don't know if this is for you. And
Was Michelle attached to it at that time?
no one was attached. They were, I think they were looking at escape artist to like co-produce with them. But so I'm gonna watch it. It's one of those things, and it's just purely like low emotional intelligence from my point. But if I see something that I want to make and then someone else makes it, it's hard for me to watch.
Yeah, he also has a really tough time when there are shows that are similar to shows that he worked
get me
on.
started.
Everybody should go watch Get Shorty. Where
Get
can
Shorty.
they find it these days?
Get Shorty is going to be on Amazon
Okay.
Prime, streaming for free starting this summer.
That's fantastic. It used to be
yeah.
much more difficult to find.
Yeah, it used to be on a network called Epix, now known as MGM Plus.
If you watched Barry, you might see some similarities.
If you watched the B version of Get Shorty and you want to see the real thing, check out Barry. No.
He has consistent beef with Barry. And the fact that we watched Barry in our household was a very, felt like a cruel thing to you.
I felt like you guys didn't want to tell me at first.
Yeah, no,
and
I
then-
was very uncomfortable
And then Chris
admitting.
was like, "Hey, we're watching Barry," and you were like,
That's
"Chris,
really
you don't have to
good.
tell him."
Yeah, I didn't want to hurt your feelings in this sense.
That's okay.
Going back to The Last of Us, because I was just something that came to me. The last episode was directed by Neil Druckmann, who's the creator who did the video game as well.
Yeah.
Would you ever be interested in writing for video games? Like, do you feel as if you could write for other mediums, be it a video game
Sure.
or full motion picture style, or I don't know what
Yeah.
else there is?
Yeah, no, I mean every TV writer has their feature in their back
Okay.
pocket that they're trying to get made. I would love to write for a video game. One of my incredibly talented coworkers, mentors, a woman named Laura Jackman. She's written on everything. She was originally a video game writer. Actually, she was a playwright, and then she was a video game writer. And it was so interesting to see how they write those, because a normal TV script is like action, character name, line, action, character name, line. Whereas a video game script is actually a tree. It's a conversation tree because it depends what the user puts in. And so a character comes up to you, you have options of what to say back, and then the conversation tree kind of goes from there, or the decision tree, I think, as she calls it. But you're trying to use that to sort of skew the player in one direction.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a
There's
really
a version
fun
of the
challenge.
game that they write that they want the player
Yes,
to go.
yeah,
And
exactly.
there's another version that's like,
Yeah.
fine.
She would write all the Telltale games, like the Walking Dead universe,
interesting.
all those video games. So like, you know, every conversation does kind of eventually lead back to
Yeah.
the same action, but you're trying to push the character in a certain direction, which
Mm.
I think would be really fun. Sorry, push the user in a certain direction.
So you're going to be on the new Hogwarts, the new Hogwarts game? Is there a game you want to be a writer on?
Oh my God. That's a great question.
Want to do Ratchet and Clank? I love Ratchet and Clank.
Well, I would love to write some of like the cutscenes in Fortnite, like those little. Yeah, well, you know, that's big money. C, like
We're trying to get you paid.
yeah. B, like that's like getting to play with lore like that.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to write on like a Marvel game, because then you're basically writing a a comic book, and you can just pull from the entire depth of canon.
So the third Spider-Man video game.
I'd love a Spider-Man, a Star Wars game.
Whoa.
Come on now.
Let's get you that Star Wars
The Force
money.
Awakens. Cameron
Let's get you that
Monaghan,
Marvel money.
fellow Shameless alumni, Cameron Monaghan. He's the star of Force Awakens, the video game. So call me, Cam. Let's do it.
It's from my perspective of watching TV with you, it's fun. What has it been like being in our household watching television with Chris and I?
Well, so in preparation for this, because when you told me about the show, you're like, oh, we review TV. And I thought it'd be fun to review how you guys watch TV.
Mm-hmm.
As someone that's a very picky TV viewer. And CJ, you can weigh in on, if you agree with these takes or not.
I bet you I will.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're gonna start with some positives.
Okay. Oh, wow. There's negatives.
It's a review.
Yes, there will absolutely be negatives. Let's go.
And we're gonna do 10 out of 10. Punctuality, big 10 out of 10.
Okay. Thank you.
We watched The Last of Us, I think, within minutes of the episode dropping.
I have to go to bed.
That's right. Jess has to go to bed. I was one episode behind because I've been traveling, and I was like, oh, maybe we could watch that tonight, and we'll watch the next one tomorrow. And you guys were like, well, you can go watch it on your laptop the other room.
We sent you to the bedroom.
And I did, and I'm glad. So I really appreciate the punctuality because then I'm not left out of the cultural conversation.
Thank you. I love to be not spoiled.
Yes.
And for the sake of this show, I like to have things to talk about.
That's exactly right. I was in Japan when the finale of White Lotus came out, and I was at an izakaya with my friend Mike, and just spoilers are just everywhere. Everyone's phone is spoilers, and we look at each other and we're like, we flew across the world to explore this other culture. We have to go back to the hotel, download a VPN, and watch White Lotus. And that's what we did, because I was like, if I get I've invested 9 hours of my life in this show. If I get spoiled after that, that's 9 hours wasted.
Okay. All right, so 10 out of 10
10
punctuality.
out of 10 punctuality. Snack game.
We don't eat snacks.
I know. So we're going 4 out of 10 on that one. Because here's the deal. You didn't put out snacks, but they were available to me.
Yeah, you could have gotten them anytime.
I did, and I went in the pantry and I said, can I have these chocolate-covered pretzels?
Oh, yeah.
And you guys said, yeah, of course. And anything in there, take it, you know, open stuff up.
Usually at the end of our night is when we watch TV, and that's usually after dinner.
Yeah.
And we get 6 chocolate cacao beans. And so that's usually our TV watching snack. Yeah.
Okay. CJ, where do you stand on post-dinner TV snacks?
I don't believe in snacks. If I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat. So I'm not here for the munching. But I understand. You're the guest. You would think that they put out some popcorn and chips or something.
We could put some popcorn out, Jeff.
Put some popcorn out next time.
I'm taking notes.
No, I mean, this isn't necessarily stuff you need to improve on, but it was.
I'm taking it as that. Okay, next up.
You're fantastic. Okay, another 10 out of 10 TV placement.
Oh, hell
like
yeah. We got a great TV.
Really good. It was, and it's not too close. It's not too far. TV's huge. So the Cinematographers Guild, shout out Local 800, actually puts out guidelines for your home TV viewing.
And you think we
which is like the bottom of the TV should be at your eye line. So you are just slightly tilted up. It should be, depending on the size, it should be like 10 to 20 feet away.
Okay.
So that was great. So that's 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Lighting, you guys do keep the lights on a little bit.
Okay.
I understand maybe it was late for you. You were afraid of falling asleep.
Yeah.
If we turn the lights off.
You wanted full lights out. We turned half the lights off.
I like full lights off, maybe with like the bathroom light on to sort of simulate the theater experience, like the emergency lights.
Okay, good point.
All right, so
Taken.
that's take it or leave it. These are all take it or leave it. As we say, as studio execs say when they're giving notes. Hey, these are take it or leave it.
But you should probably take it if you want a job.
Bad producer pitch, turn the lights off.
Okay.
And then where we kind of start to fall off is the subtitle situation. And I know this might be controversial. I don't know if you watch with subtitles, CJ, but like,
we turned them off for you.
I cannot do it.
And we took them off halfway through.
Halfway through the episode of Hacks, but we kept
then
them on for the
Last of Us because it's
Why
hard
don't you
to
just
hear.
turn the volume up?
My captions,
God, that's exactly
I can't
right.
hear without my captions.
Oh my gosh.
I can't hear without my captions.
With the subtitles on, you're ahead of the line reading.
Yeah, but I like to read.
So I get it. Well, it's kind of like being at a table read where you're looking at the script and then you're seeing it, but like
I know, it's a bad habit. But okay,
It's hard to
putting it
quit.
on-
Once you start doing it, it's really hard to stop. I will tell you that.
Yes. And when I go see movies, like when we went and saw Sinners, which you're going to see tonight.
I'm going to see
When I
Sinners.
saw Sinners in theaters, it took me like 15 minutes to get to a point where my ears had adjusted to watching something without subtitles. And I
Yeah.
don't like that. And I'm trying to, and I have good hearing. I have like notoriously good ears where I can overhear lots of little secrets being told.
Uh-huh.
But with television, it's become increasingly hard.
Well, you're training your ears out of listening when you put the subtitles
Yeah,
on
I know,
things.
it's true.
Life
Okay.
doesn't
Okay.
have subtitles, Jess.
Okay.
It doesn't.
Well, I
Unless
work
you
with
get, like,
CJ
the-
who screams, so I usually don't need subtitles in my day to day.
Well, turn the TV up. Then it'll be the TV will be screaming. The characters will be screaming at
We
you.
turn it up pretty high. Okay, noted. I understand. We've become a subtitle family, and I'm not proud of it.
It's okay. It's. I mean, I will say when you watch something British, like when I watch Peaky
Oh, if
Blinders,
it's an accent, it's game over.
Bake Off, British Bake Off, some of those characters.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I need subtitles.
No. Okay.
And then finally, and this is sort of my biggest thing in terms of watching TV with other people is
Okay.
what's the talking level at?
Oh, God.
Are people talking? Are people interrupting? And you guys get a 9 out of 10 in this area.
Yes!
You guys were great.
Chris has been on his best behavior.
At one point, I started talking.
Yeah.
Because I had a prediction mid-episode. I was like, oh, I bet this is, I'm not going to say it.
And you
but
were
I was-
right.
And yeah, of course I was right. No.
You're a writer.
I had a prediction and Chris paused so then I could share
Yes.
the prediction.
Yes.
And then we resumed. And I thought that was beautifully handled.
Thank you.
The only reason it's a 9 out of 10 is there was a couple moments where Chris turned to me and was like, so as someone that works in TV, how do you think they shot this scene?
Yeah.
I'm like, Chris, I'm trying to be absorbed in the
Yeah.
moment here.
It's a soundstage.
Yeah, I was like, it's a soundstage. They put up a green scene, or technically it's probably 360 LED light, but like it doesn't matter. It's an LED wall.
So Chris usually is a pauser. Like he's a big pause and talk. But I think with you in town, he has really worked on not pausing and talking. Like
Yeah.
we'll have a 45-minute show that will take us 90 minutes to get through sometimes
Yeah.
because we pause. And I do it too. Like I play into it. I don't mind. This
Yeah.
is a piece of it. We enjoy speaking through things at times.
That's right.
But we worked really hard. So I'm happy that that was noted. And
I don't hate a pause and talk.
Okay.
I don't hate it. Especially if I'm in control of pausing
Okay.
when I want to talk.
Yes.
I like it's when. Here's another. You're allowed to give reactions. Something big happens. You're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, oh poor Ellie, oh Joel.
Yeah.
But like, if you're giving your full
Yeah.
review, that's
too much.
That's not happening.
Too much in the moment.
This isn't entertainment. This
Well, thank
isn't
you for the
Access
notes.
Hollywood. Yeah,
they
those
now
are the
exist
notes.
on YouTube forever, so I'll be able to go back. Before we let you go,
Yeah.
what are your biggest recommendations for TV right now?
My biggest recommendations for TV right now. Well, if you want to look at some shows from last year, Mr. and Mrs. Smith was my favorite show.
We
of
loved Mr. and
2024.
Mrs. Smith. Oh my God. And by we, I mean CJ and I, not Chris and I.
For anybody that's ever been in a romantic relationship
it?
or a partnership,
He didn't watch it. I watched it without him.
Chris didn't watch it?
No.
Chris needs to get on it.
I know.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Pachinko was great in 2024. I'm really loving these two animated shows on, it's on Max right now. They're Adult Swim shows, Common Side Effects and Fired on Mars. What
Okay.
they are able to do. Oh, have you seen it?
2 episodes into Fired on Mars. I need to get back to it.
So good, right? What they're
It's-
able
it's
to do
interesting.
in 1/2 hour is just a masterclass in storytelling. So those would be my recs for the people out there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Not the most recent season of Hacks?
Well, I'm enjoying. I assume people are already watching Hacks. I'm
Not
trying to
everybody.
offer some deep cuts.
Not CJ.
Okay, well that's
CJ won't watch
that's a blind
Hacks.
spot for you.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay, well, thanks, Alex. This
Thank
was
you
fun.
guys so much
You
for
can come
having
on
me.
when one of your pilots hits. Now
Yeah.
we've introduced you to the show. Now there's a baseline, and then we can bring you back to talk about the big bad shows that you're gonna do great things with.
Thank you very much. Big fan of the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. on.
First time listener.
Yeah.
Long time listener.
Long time listener. I was
first-time
listening
caller.
since day one. Come on now.
Thank you. You really have been. All right, that'll do it for this Tuesday, a special TV Tuesday edition. Thanks to our Alex Carmedelle for coming in studio. Thanks to Mike Wallace for joining us earlier. The NBA playoffs are back tonight. We get Western Conference Finals Game 1 between the Thunder and the Timberwolves. CJ, quickly on our way out, your game prediction is what for tonight?
Thunder, win game 1, Thunder in 5.
Thunder in 5. I will also take Thunder in 5, and I will take a 15-point win by the Oklahoma City Thunder.
We gotta give it points?
Nice. I was just throwing it out. Not like a bet. I don't even know what the line is. I would never bet on the NBA.
Just making sure.
Please, I passed a class on that. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Got to be the only person who values passing that class.